Mira, mira qué locura.
I really
Mira, mira, mira.
The smart carb is somewhat particular about order of operations, especially when brand new with a fully rebuilt motor. I brought the bike.
Kincade Pavich. Que estoy un poco enganchado a la onda, ¿vale? Vamos a quitar la música. Listas, onda. A ver dónde nos quedamos. Y según veamos, vemos uno o dos. Nos quedamos aquí. Starting de dominio. Primer arranque, ¿no? Primer arranque. Dice, ¿crees que una de cross puede estar bien para lo típico de salir con los colegas un domingo y tal? ¿O la moto no está para...? Una moto de cross, Larry, no la saques de circuito. No porque no pueda andar con ella, digamos, porque se vaya a romper y nada, sino que cada cosa a lo suyo. Cada cosa a lo suyo. Si tienes un problema, si miras nada más el tema económico, si te coge la policía, la Guardia Civil, lo que sea, te vas a acordar bien. Y si tienes un problema, por lo que sea, en un carril, se te cruza un coche, se te cruza alguien, con una moto de cross, te vas a querer acordar bien de lo que te estoy diciendo, que no la cojas. Si vas a pistear, enduro y tal, una moto de enduro con matrículas y todo en condiciones. Y si no vas a salir de circuito, una de cross. Vale, vamos a ver esto, ¿vale? Vamos a ver esto después de este consejito de viejo.
If you're new here, I bought a blown up $700 CR250 a few months ago and have been working hard to build one of the sickest CR250s anyone has ever seen. In today's video, there's a lot
aquí ya lo vimos.
Sports rebuilt in breaking an RC valve cable in a previous episode. The new one arrived and I was able to get the RC valve set. I opted to use the HRC method, which I learned about in another YouTube video, I'll link below. Essentially, there's a lot of
amigo, esto es lo que hicimos nosotros. Que dice, usé el método de HRC. Mira, puedes tener juego de valor RC. Opté por usar el método HRC del cual aprendí en otro vídeo de YouTube. Si entro en el vídeo, me juego el pescuezo, que es el que nosotros vimos también. A ver, bueno, a ver, igual dónde lo tiene aquí. Aquí tiene todos los enlaces de todos los patrocinadores. Pero vamos, seguro que es el que vimos. El de los 10 o 12 milímetros.
Essentially, there's a lot of misinformation on RC valve configuration circling the internet, but this method made the most sense to me conceptually. I pushed the exhaust valve to its open position, but not past its open position, set the right cable tension, returned the valve to its closed position, and then set the left cable tension. Also, check out this super trick anodized red RC valve cable holder by 2SM Performance. Really nice touch. With the RC valve tension set, I could reinstall the magnificent header from Hugo pipes. The fitment on this pipe legitimately could not be more perfect, and I've been wanting to do a build with a cone pipe for years. These pipes are handmade in Canada, and I truly think this header adds such a special touch to the bike. With the suspension installed, I was really itching to mount the sexy wheels from Warp.
Eso necesito para la Suzuki, tío. Los kits de reparación de la bomba ya los tengo, de las pinzas, tío. De las pinzas. O sea, ya los tengo, ya los montamos en un directo.
A Pro X rebuild kit provided by Prime MX made quick work of the rebuilds. Side note, these Pro X brake pads have all of the characteristics that I aspire to have. Then I'd find a lucky lady. Also, I'm going to be mentioning a lot of great companies throughout this video. They will all be linked down in the description, and don't hesitate to ask me about parts and such in the comments of this video either. So with Hondas, the fork guards are difficult to install with the front wheel installed, so it was also time to add some fork guard graphics and get the fork guards bolted on to the fresh forks. I used some fasteners from Fast Metric Hardware. They sent over
depende de tu presupuesto y eso, Larry, pero
for the plastics on the entire bike. So it's really nice to have some good looking freshly.
En enduro, lo voy a decir yo, que no sirva de precedente, manda al grupo austriaco,
bolts for all these beautiful new
esta beta, esta Cherco, hay un montón de opciones.
These wheels, so here's a beautiful look at that Warp 9 front wheel being installed, complete with titanium rotor bolts and a fresh Shinko tire. For the rear, 2SM Performance sent over some spicy anodized red axle blocks that look stellar in this black axle. I also love with Hondas that the rear axle has a taper where the block sits, so if you grease your axle before installing the block, you don't smear the grease all the way to the end. Now, of course, this rear wheel is complete with titanium hardware and a Dirt Tricks rear sprocket. Here's my reaction seeing the bike.
Hasta la arandela pintado con ceracote.
Oh my god, dude. Oh,
qué gustazo verla así, ¿eh?
Is freaking
qué gustazo.
Insane. Oh, the blue lowers and the tie hardware look so freaking good together. Oh, let's go. Oh my god.
Es que verla ya así en la recta final.
Stoked as I am seeing this come together. It is so rewarding seeing the vision become a reality, and it's also a little nerve-wracking wondering if the colors
Cadena
will
dorada,
work the
tío,
way
que
you
más
hope
guapa.
they will once it's a physical dirt bike and not just an idea. I'm a big sucker for a gold chain. You'll notice I use them on just about all of my builds, so I went with
a la
520 chain from
le meto la radial, le como el filito y saco.
Cutting chains simply as the manual suggests before and ended up too
Porque es de
short,
retener, ¿no?
so I'm always a check twice, cut once kind of guy now. I cut this chain from a 120 to a 114. Now guys, I made a mistake with the sight glasses for the brake master cylinder.
Necesito un moto de
I
esto,
simply
tío.
assumed the 18mm size that Rocky Mountain offered would fit these Honda brakes. They were in fact 16mm, and I had a hard time tracking down that size. I took the new 18mm sight glasses, ground them down a bit, and then used some black silicone around the sight glass to ensure they don't leak. I would have loved for the brakes to be more perfect than this, and I think this is really the only spot on the bike I'm not completely satisfied with. That said, the silicone really
es que
does
se cargó,
match the
recordáis que se
color
cargó
perfectly,
los cristales,
and I
los
didn't
pintó,
tell you
pintó
I'd
con
be
ceracote y con el
curious if
calor.
you'd notice. The Ride Engineering triple clamps do not have a brake line mount, so we're using a number plate mounted guide. The front graphic from Decalworks needed to be installed before adding the guide, and we went with the number 18 in honor of Jet Lawrence's dominant rookie season.
Bueno, no cicra, pero
the front brake also got a brand new stainless steel braided brake line from Galfer. Seeing this all come together made me really happy that I decided to Cerakote all of the little parts I did. These added little features really tie this whole bike together nicely in my opinion. With the front brake installed, I shifted attention to the rear, where I mounted the master cylinder before once again installing a brand new brake line. Stopping power is an incredibly important feature of your dirt bike, and when I ride older bikes, brakes are often the first thing I notice. Brakes have come a long way in the last 20 years, and that's why I put so much effort into the brakes on this bike. The steel line on the rear should help with power and feel, and the line, coupled with the 2023 master cylinder on the front, should make that brake feel every bit as good as a brand new 450. But bleeding these right now was not the top priority, as I wanted to continue making strides towards the first start of the bike.
So the bike is coming together beautifully. As you can see, not too much left to add other than this nasty ass airbox right here. I've been putting this thing off because I know it is going to be a lot of work to restore this to its original condition, but this is one of the last two things that needs to happen before starting the bike. Look at all that 20-year-old grime in there. We got to get all of that out and make this look brand new. Take a note of this Vacation Forever sticker. Corey, the guy I bought the bike from, said he had some sentimental attachment to this sticker, so we did a little rework of it for the shrouds. Stay tuned for that. Time to scrub this thing for probably hours.
Time to reassemble lower mount. Freshened it up with the Dremel as well to smooth out that edge, and from there the boot went onto the carburetor with a perfect seal. With the subframe installed, the next task was to bolt up the brand new Pro Circuit Factory 304 silencer. Fitment of that Pro Circuit silencer to the Hyuga header was absolutely perfect.
We're getting ridiculously close to the first start. I am getting nervous. Pretty much all that's left is to slap a brand new no-toil air filter in, and then clean up the fuel tank and fire this girl up.
Seco, ¿no?
But while we're talking about no-toil, I've been running no-toil products since long before they started
seco,
any of my content, purely because they develop an awesome product. Their oil is completely biodegradable. I actually wash my filters in the washing machine, which is epic. So I'm working with no-toil on this.
Ha dicho algo aquí, el traductor no lo estoy. A la hora de trabajar está usando productos centrados. Espérate.
And then clean up the fuel tank and fire this girl up. But while we're talking about no-toil, I've been running no-toil products since long before they started supporting any of my content, purely because they develop an awesome product. Their oil is completely biodegradable. I actually wash my filters in the washing machine, which is epic. So I'm working with no-toil on this to give you guys a no-toil wash kit. What we're going to include is an air filter for your bike, a wash cover for your bike, as well as some no oil filter oil and cleaners, so that you are fresh and ready to go for the rest of the riding season and hopefully into next. All you have to do is leave me a comment telling me what your favorite part of the CR250 build is, as well as what bike you ride. You do need...
With the tank going on the bike, this is the
Eso le va a pegar una patada, pero ya.
Mixed exactly 1 gallon of 91 octane ethanol-free fuel at a 32-to-1 mix ratio and poured it into the tank. The bike still needed coolant as well, so these mileage radiators were filled up for the first time. Transmission oil, check. Ooh. Fuel mixed at 32-to-1, check. Coolant in the radiators, check. Let's start this thing.
Fuel on.
Ese momento en el que le vas a dar la primera patada después de todo un trabajo. Bienvenido. Ese momento. Está flipándolo. Ahí va.
Okay, here we go.
After kicking the bike over for some time with no luck, I gave Nathan
no arrancó.
over at Smart Carb a call to see if he could walk me through what I needed to do to get the bike running.
Alright, how much throttle?
That maybe was 8.
Yeah, give it a bit more. Give it up to half. Kind of work your way up.
A la mitad de gas.
Alright, just got off the phone with Nathan at Smart Carb.
Acaba de hablar por teléfono.
I messed up the order of operations initially. I was supposed to raise the choke before turning on the petcock, but I got way too excited. It's gonna go. So we're gonna go ahead and drain the float and do this the right way. So this is one of the absolutely epic things about...
O sea, como que estaba demasiado... O sea, como que lo había ahogado, digamos, ¿no? Y dice, voy a drenarlo.
Smart Carb, watch this. And you can drain the bowl just
pueden drenar el recipiente, hombre, es cómodo.
No mess whatsoever. Cannot do that with a regular carb. So we're gonna let this drain out, and then we're gonna start it the correct way.
Ostras.
We got something interesting out of the pipe here. So I might have
Escucha, eso se ha tirado. ¿Habéis visto todo lo que ha tirado ahí?
Yeah, sorry, we just kind of freaked out here because it shot straight up fuel out of the silencer, like a lot.
Y se empezó a tirar directamente por el escape el combustible.
Okay. Yep. So I really
wanted it.
The Smart Carb is somewhat particular about order of operations.
Dice realmente. Esperaros. Dice el silenciador como mucho.
Yep.
Aquí. La cama está bien, así que realmente lo inundé. El carburador inteligente es algo particular en cuanto a la orden de operaciones, especialmente cuando es nuevo, con un motor completamente reconstruido.
The bike was blowing 2-stroke smoke instead of fuel out of the silencer and actually sounded pretty.
Se ha estado como 5 minutos tirando así por el escape, tío. No veas.
Crispy.
Ya sí, ya suena bien.
Well, maybe the oddest first bike start I've ever.
Desde el primer arranque más extraño.
But it freaking runs. Well, guys.
Yo la verdad que nunca he visto tampoco, dice, nunca lo había visto así. Yo nunca he visto tirar la gasolina directamente por así a chorros, tío. Está barata, para tirarla,
I kind of screwed up the initial procedure and ended up flooding the bike, and as you can see how much fuel flew out of the pipe when it finally started. I idled the thing for a few minutes. It seems to be running pretty good now. Nathan said it's still going to be rich for a while, burning off some of that excess fuel, so it doesn't quite want to idle yet, but we've got adjustments that we can make. The Smart Carb has to break in, so we're going to do about an hour of break-in time over the next couple days. And of course, she's obviously not done yet. We need to put on plastics, graphics, do some tuning here, but thrilled that the thing runs. I was pretty darn confident that it was fuel delivery related, so I'm really glad that I stuck with it.
Yo el otro día en el circuito estuve hablando con un chaval que tiene una 0-125, que se lo dije, digo, tío, la tienes muy guapa y tal. Y me dijo que él la compró y traía un Lectron, ¿vale? Y dice, la moto no iba bien. No iba bien. De hecho, estaba probando Uno de una Husqvarna 125. Dice, estoy haciendo pruebas y tal. Dice, porque con el Electron ni de coña, ni va bien.
And actually called Nathan at Smart Car because he was immensely helpful in actually getting this thing going. She's not done yet, but she's awfully close and she runs. This is the first time I've ever heard this bike run. When I bought it, it was blown up, so she's got a crisp sound to her. So don't forget, one of you is going to win this thing. You can get yourself entered via the link in the description. And in the next episode, you're getting a plastic and
Mira, lleva a terminar, pero vamos a recopilar, ¿eh? Fijaros que yo nunca he visto esto así, ¿eh? Echarte la gasolina directamente. Mira, mira qué locura. Mira.
The Smart Carb is somewhat particular about order of operations, especially when brand new with a fully rebuilt motor. I brought the bike outside to blast out all of that excess fuel, and after 5 minutes
locura,
or so,
tío.
the bike was blowing 2-stroke smoke instead of fuel out of the silencer and actually sounded pretty crispy.
Lo raro es que arranca, pues eso, ¿eh?
Well...
Madre mía, qué locura, tío. Qué locura, qué locura. Ya quedan pocos, pero bueno, ya lo vamos a dejar para el próximo día. Ya nos vamos a ir, chavales. ¿Qué llevamos? Más de una hora. Está bien, para hacer día de diario. Nos vemos... Hoy es martes, ¿no? Bueno, si no pasa nada, nos vemos mañana, ¿vale? Muchas gracias a todos por estar ahí. Y lo dicho, gasta cuidadito y nos vemos mañana.